Hello everyone. Now we are on to the third lecture of profit prior to incorporation. We will be solving two questions in today's lectures. Question number 3 and question number 4. So before you start with this lecture, revise properly with the time basis, sales basis, actual basis which incomes expenses are taken and the format of P&L statement. Look at it. Question 3. Durga and Kali working in a partnership registered a joint stock company. Registered means incorporated, okay? A joint stock company under the name Durga Kali Limited on 1st September 2017. Registered on 1st September means that is the date of incorporation. To take over their existing business with effect from 1st April 2017, that is the date of acquisition, and profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2018, that is the date of year ending. Anyway, even if you are not able to identify these, what is the shortcut method I have given you? Just write the three dates in chronological ascending order. So out of these three dates, September, April and March, which date will come very first? 1st April 2017. In the chronological order, next 1st September 2017, and next would be 31st March 2018. 1st April to 1st September. So September won't be included since it's 1st September. April, May, June, July, August. 5 months is pre-incorporation period, and September to March, 7 months is post-incorporation period. This will give us time ratio. Now, in green ink, we will mark the place where it will come in P&L statement, and in blue ink, we will mark the basis, time basis, sales basis or actual basis. Salaries and wages will come in employees benefit and it will be taken on time basis. Debenture interest will come in finance cost and it will be taken on actual basis only in post incorporation period. Advisably, now you all must first try the markings on your own and then play the video and verify whether you got it correct or not. Instead of now every lecture just doing the markings and copying it, you all try the markings on your own and then you play the video and verify whether you got the markings correct or not. Depreciation will come in depreciation and amortization and it will be taken on time basis. Interest on purchase consideration up to 30th September 2017 will come in finance cost and it will be taken on time basis but only up to the date of repayment. Time basis up to 30th September. Okay, time basis but up to 30th September. So separate working will be done for the time basis of interest on purchase consideration. Selling commission will come in selling expense and it will be taken on sales basis. Directors fees will come in administrative expense and it will be taken in actual basis only in post incorporation period. Preliminary expenses written off will come in miscellaneous expenses and it will be taken on actual basis only in post incorporation period. Provision for tax will directly come in P&L account. Okay, directly it will come in P&L statement. There is no note for that. And remember, provision for taxes will also come in post incorporation period, actual basis. What you can do it is, in the summary you all can note down where you have written expenses and incomes, or in the P&L statement format. Provision for taxes always go on actual basis and only in post incorporation period. Reason: provision for tax is made by a joint stock company, not by partnership firm or proprietorship firm. So provision for tax can be made by a joint stock company only after it is legally existed, means after it is incorporated, after it gets its legal existence, getting the certificate of incorporation. So a company can make a provision for tax only in post incorporation period. So provision for tax will directly come in P&L statement and on actual basis we will take only in post incorporation period. Dividend on equity shares also comes in post incorporation period but it will have no effect. It doesn't come in our P&L statement. For dividends, separate statement is made which is called statement of retained earnings. Okay, so presently you all can write it as a note in the summary that dividend on equity shares will have no effect. Okay, because it comes in a separate statement, not in P&L statement. It comes in a separate statement called as statement of retained earnings. So it will have no effect in P&L statement. Okay. What is this statement of retained earnings? You'll study in detail in semester 4 of your syllabus. Balance carried down is the net profit, but ignore that. We'll be finding the net profit on our own. Credit side, make it gross profit brought down. And gross profit will come in revenue from operations and it will be taken on sales basis. Okay, it will come in revenue from operations and it will be taken on sales basis. Sales for the year total sales for the whole year 2,25,000, out of which 1,50,000 related to the period from 1st September to 31st March, that is post incorporation period. Okay, 2,25,000 is the total sales of the whole year, out of which 1,50,000 is the sales from September to March. September to March is post incorporation period, so that will be post incorporation sales, and 225 minus 1,50,000, 75,000 will be pre incorporation sales, from which we will find sales ratio. Prepare a statement showing apportioning the profit between post and prior period. So 3 workings we will have to make in the beginning. First workings, all of you write down. Time ratio. And ideally you all can try the workings also today on your own, and then you can play the video and verify whether you got it correct or not. So time ratio, 3 dates we have to write in ascending order. 1st April, 1st September, 31st March. 1st April 2017, 1st September 2017, 31st March 2018. April, May, June, July, August. Pre-incorporation period is 5 months. September, October, November, December, January, February and March. Post-incorporation period is 7 months. So 5 is to 7. Okay, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months pre-incorporation period, 7 months post-incorporation period. 5 is to 7. 5 by 12, 7 by 12 is the time ratio. Sales ratio. Now for sales, I told you write all the months from April to March. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Now, first 5 months, April, May, June, July, August is pre-incorporation period, and September onwards till March is post-incorporation period. Now, what are the total sales given below the question? Total sales are given 2,25,000. See this, 2,25,000. And from that, what are the sales given from September to March post incorporation period? 1,50,000. September to March post incorporation period, 1,50,000. So what would be the sales for pre incorporation period? 2,25,000 minus 1,50,000, that is 75,000. Now cancel the zeros. So 75 and 150. 75 divided by 75, 1. 150 divided by 75, 2. 1 is to 2, that is 1 by 3, and 2 by 3 is the sales ratio. Okay. And third, we will make working for time ratio of interest on purchase consideration payable to the vendors. So interest on purchase considerations time ratio. Now here we have to write till the date of repayment only. So what is the date of repayment given in the question? 30th September. Well, if you can see that, 30th September. So what will be the time ratio till 30th September? April, May, June, July, August, September. April, May, June, July, August is pre, and only 1 month is post. Okay, only 1 month is post till September. So 5 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is to 1 month. 5 by 6, 1 by 6 is the time ratio exclusively for interest on purchase consideration. Now all of you make the format statement of profit and loss of Messrs. Durga and Kali Limited for the year ended on 31st March 2018 with apportionment of profits between pre and post acquisition period. Columns, particulars, basis of allocation, note number, total pre and post, and you already know the shortcuts. Two incomes will come: revenue from operation, other incomes, and total incomes. And then in expenses, C, D, E, F do. C, cost of materials consumed. D, direct purchases. Again C, change in inventory. E, employees benefit. F, finance cost. Do. D, depreciation of other expenses. Total expenses, profit before tax, tax and profit after tax. Pause the video and make this format available. Do it fast. I hope all of you have done the formats. Now, first we will make the notes. Okay, so note number 1, revenue from operations. Now, revenue from operations will include only one item, that is gross profit. All of you see in the question, I told you that we'll make the columns of total, basis, pre and post only for finance cost if there are more than 2 bases and other expenses. Otherwise, directly we will write in the total column only. Gross profit, you all can see here, is given as 84,000. Okay, so directly in the last column, gross profit, we will write 84,000. Then after gross profit, revenue from operations, second note will be for other incomes. We don't have. Okay, in this question, no, we don't have any other incomes. Only one income is there, credit side, gross profit. Then we don't have cost of materials consumed, direct purchases, and change in inventory. We don't have it in any of the question. Directly as per the format, what we have is employees benefit expenses. All of you read on employees benefit expenses. In that we have salaries and wages. See in the question, what is the amount of salaries and wages? 10,000. Okay, so directly in total column, all of you write down salaries and wages 10,000. Only one amount, so that itself would be the total. Okay. Then third note will be for after employees benefit expenses, C, D, E, F. F stands for finance cost. And finance cost, there are two items. See here, in finance cost, one is this interest on purchase consideration. The other is this debenture interest. And one is on actual basis, other is on time basis up to the date of repayment. So since there are two or more bases in a single note, we will have to make the columns. So here you'll make the columns of basis, then total, then pre, and then post. So first we have debenture interest. It will go on which basis? Actual basis, and entire amount will go in post incorporation period. What is the amount of debentures interest? You all can see here, 5,000. Debenture interest is 5,000. Entire amount of 5,000 will go in post incorporation period, because debentures are issued by the company only after it gets certificate of incorporation. Then after debenture interest, we have interest on purchase consideration. That will go on time basis. But which time basis? Which we have done in third working note for interest on purchase consideration. We have done the time basis, that is 5:1 ratio. Okay, which time basis done in third working note? 5:1. 5/6, 1/6. What is the amount of interest on purchase consideration? 10,800. Okay, all can see 10,800. So in total column 10,800. Now 5:1. So 10,800 into 5/6, 9,000, and 10,800 into 1/6, 1,800. Okay, total amount 15,800, pre 9,000, post 6,800. So this will help us in making the format of P&L account later on. Okay. Next, after finance cost, C, D, E, F, do. So D stands for depreciation and amortization. Fourth note, depreciation and amortization. In that we have only one item, that is depreciation. So only total amount will be written directly in the last column. The amount of depreciation you all can see is 2,000 rupees. Okay. So directly 2,000 will be written in the last column. Then fifth note, do. O stands for other expenses. Now within other expenses, we have administrative expenses, selling expenses, and miscellaneous expenses. So first, administrative expenses. Now all the items marked as A. With green letters, all the items marked as A, administrative expenses. Only one is there. Director's fees is marked as A. It will go on actual basis. Amount is 800. Actual basis means directors, so it will go on post. Okay. So here basis will mark it as actual, that is post. Amount is 800, and entire amount will go in the last column, 800. Okay. Here also you'll give the headings: basis, total, pre and post. Basis, total, pre and post. Now after administrative expenses, okay, this was which administrative expense? You need to mention that directors sitting fees. Okay, directors sitting fees, that will come here. Actual 800, 800. Entire amount will go in post period. Then after directors sitting fees, we will have selling expenses. All the items marked as S in green will be taken. So which all items are marked as S in green? Again, only one item is there. Selling commission, and amount is 12,000, and it will go on sales ratio. Okay, selling commission, only one item is there. Selling commission, it will go on sales basis. What is the sales basis? We have calculated 1:2. You all can see here. What is the sales ratio? We have calculated 1:2. Okay, and amount is 12,000. So sales basis, all of it are done in bracket 1:2. 1/3, 2/3. 12,000 into 1/3, that is 4,000, and 12,000 into 2/3, that is 8,000. I hope everyone is clear with this. Then miscellaneous expenses. All the items marked as M in green letters. What all things are marked as M in green letters? Only one item is there. Miscellaneous expense include preliminary expenses written off. Actual basis, it will go entirely in post incorporation period, 1,000 rupees. So preliminary expenses written off. Okay, preliminary expenses written off. Actual basis, amount What is the amount? 1000. Amount is 1000. And entire amount will go in post incorporation period 1000. Okay. Actual basis entire amount will go in post incorporation period, that is 1000. Then total will be done. Now total 800 plus 12,000 plus 1,000, so 13,800, 4,000, 8,000 plus 1,000 plus 900, 800, so 9,800. Now let's put the things in P&L statement, fill in the blanks. Revenue from operation, sales basis 1:2, that is 1 by 3, 2 by 3. Note number 1, what is the total amount we get in note number 1? 84,000. So all of you write down 84,000. Pre-incorporation period, 84,000 into 1 by 3. Okay, 84,000 into 1 by 3, that is 28,000, and 2 by 3, that is 56,000. Then we don't have other incomes. Total incomes would be same here, 84,000, 28,000, 56,000. Okay, total incomes would be same. Then after that we'll take up with expenses. So other incomes not applicable or not available. Expenses, cost of material consumed not available. Direct purchases not available. Change in inventory is not available. Employees benefit time ratio 5:7. Note number 2. What is the employees benefit given in note number 2? Well, if you can see here, 10,000 rupees. So in total column 10,000. Now 10,000 into 5 by 12. 10,000 into 5 by 12, that is 4167. And 7 by 12, that is 5833. Then finance cost as per the note. Okay, as per the note, because there are two different bases applicable, so we have given the details in note number 3. Directly we'll write 15,800, 9,000 and 6,800. Okay, total column 15,800, pre 9,000 and post 6,800. Then depreciation will go on time basis, that is 5:7. Note number 4. What is the amount of depreciation as per note number 4? 2,000 rupees. So 2,000 we will distribute in time ratio. 2,000 into 5 by 12. That is 833. And 2,000 into 7 by 12, that is 1167. Then other expenses again as per the note, because more than one bases are applicable. Note number 5. Directly total amount you all can see in note number 5. 13,800, 4,000 and 9,800. Okay, 13,800, 4,000 and 9,800. Now total expenses 10,000 plus 15,800 plus 2,000 plus 13,800, that comes to 41,600. 4167 plus 9,000 plus 833 plus 4,000, that is 18,000. And 5,833 plus 6,800 plus 1,167 plus 9,800, that comes to 23,600. Okay, these are the total expenses. Now, profit before tax 3 minus 4. So 84,000 minus 41,600. 84,000 minus 41,600. That comes to 42,400. Same way, 28,000 minus 18,000 is 10,000, and 56,000 minus 23,600 is 32,400. Taxes. Now, provision for taxes given in the question, you all can see here, and we have done the markings also. It will directly come in P&L statement on actual basis 5,000. So 5,000 is the amount of provision for tax basis actual. No note number is there for it. And entire amount of provision for tax will go in post incorporation period. Now 42,400 minus 5,000, 37,400. 10,000 minus nil, 10,000. 32,400 minus 5,000, 27,400. This is profit after tax. I hope everyone is clear with this question. Okay. Now all of you look at question number 4. We had ended. PQR Limited. Again in this question also, all of you pause the video and first do all the markings of entire question on your own, and then you play the video and verify whether you got the markings correct or not. Then again you pause the video and make the workings on your own, and then you play the video and whether you got it correct or not you can verify. And then again you pause the video and solve the remaining questions and then play and verify you got it correct or not. Self-practice is needed now at this stage. PQR Limited was incorporated on 1st August 2017. So pause the video and do the markings on your own, then you play the video, okay? Now this is date of incorporation, and received its certificate of commencement of business on 1st September 2017. Certificate of commencement has no relevance, ignore it. 1st September 2017 has no relevance, ignore it. In the very first lecture itself, I told you that certificate of commencement has no relevance, ignore the same if given in the question. Okay. The company bought means date of acquisition, the business of ABC Limited with effect from 1st April 2017, that is date of acquisition. From the following figures relating to the year ending on 31st March 2018, that is date of year ending, find out the profit available for dividends. Now which profits are available for dividends? End of the year revenue profits are available for dividends, so that we have to state separately in our solution which amount of profit is available for dividend. Okay. Sales for the year are rupees 3 crores, out of which sales up to 1st August. For up to 1st August means pre-incorporation period sales. Okay. They are 1 crore 25 lakhs. So remaining 1 crore 75 lakhs will be post-incorporation sales. Gross profit for the year was rupees 90 lakhs. So mark it as revenue from operations and it will be taken on sales basis. Expenses debited to P&L account were rent will come in administrative expenses on time basis. Salaries will come in employees benefit expenses on time basis. Directors fees will come in administrative expenses on actual basis in post incorporation period. Interest on debentures will come in finance cost in post incorporation period actual basis. Audit fees will come in administrative expenses in time ratio. Okay, audit is done, inspection is done of books of accounts of pre as well as post. So audit fees is paid by the company, but you have paid for pre-incorporation period audit also and post-incorporation period audit also. So administrative expense but time ratio. Discount on sales, selling expense and sales basis. Depreciation and amortization and time basis. General expenses, miscellaneous expenses and time basis. Okay, general expenses will come in miscellaneous expenses and time basis. Advertising, selling expense and sales basis. Stationery and printing, administrative expense and time basis. Commission on sales, selling expense and sales basis. Bad debts, selling expense and sales basis. Normally we do it on sales basis, but look at the note. 25,000 relate to bad debts created prior to incorporation, clearly given. So because of this note, we will take on actual basis. Means out of 75,000, 25,000 will go to pre-incorporation period and remaining 50,000 is related to post-incorporation period. As it is clearly given, 25,000 relates to relates to debts created prior to incorporation. Sort of 75,000, 25,000 are pre-incorporation bad debts and 50,000 are post-incorporation bad debts. Okay. So normally it's a selling expense and we'll take on actual basis because of this information given in bracket. Interest to vendor on purchase consideration up to 1st August will go on finance cost, and up to 1st August means it will go on time basis but up to the date of repayment. So all of you pause the video and make the workings on your own. I hope everyone would have done the workings, 3 workings which we did in the previous question also. All of you verify whether you got the workings correct or not. First workings will be time ratio. In this workings, we simply have to write the 3 dates in chronological order. So here if you see the 3 dates, August, April and March. Very first April will come, 1st April 2017, then August will come, 1st August 2017, then March will come, 31st March 2018. Okay, 1st April 2017, then 1st August 2017, then 31st March 2018. Now April, May, June, July. August is 1st, so 1st August means August will not be included. April, May, June, July, 4 months is pre-incorporation period, and then August to March post-incorporation period is 8 months. Both are divisible by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 1 is to 2. 1 by 3, 2 by 3 is time ratio. Second workings we will make of sales ratio. Now here you have to write all the months: April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Now first 4 months, April, May, June, July is pre-incorporation period, and remaining 8 months, August to March, are post-incorporation period. Okay, so what are the sales? Now if you see the information of first point, total sales for the year is 3 crores. Okay, total sales for the whole year is 3 crores. And then they say out of which up to 1st August means pre-incorporation period is 1 crore 25 lakhs. Up to 1st August means April, May, June, July sales are 1 crore 25 lakhs. So what would be the sales from August onwards till March? 3 crores minus 1 crore 25 lakhs. That is 1 crore 75 lakhs. Now you cancel all the 5 zeros. So 125 and 175 will remain. 125 divided by 25 is 5. 175 divided by 25 is 7. So 5 plus 7, 12. 5 by 12, 7 by 12 is the sales ratio. I repeat, 125 divided by 5 is 5. 175 divided by 5 is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. So 5 by 12, 7 by 12 is sales ratio. Third workings for interest on purchase consideration. Okay, interest on purchase consideration. Exclusive time ratio for that we have to obtain. Now what is the date of repayment? We have to do it only up to the date of repayment. So date of repayment is 1st August. 1st August means till July. April, May, June, July. 1st August is the date of repayment. So August won't be included. Now April, May, June, July entirely is pre-incorporation period only. Okay, first 4 months is pre-incorporation period only. So What will be the post incorporation period for the date of repayment? 0. Means the ratio will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Entire 4 months is pre-incorporation and 0. 1:0. Okay, 1:0 means entire amount of purchase considerations interest will go in pre-incorporation period only, because it is up till 1st August, and up till 1st August is entire pre-incorporation period. 1:0 is the time ratio for purchase consideration. Now all of you make this format. Statement of profit and loss account of which company is this? PQR Limited. Statement of profit and loss account of Messrs. PQR Limited for the year ended 31st March 2018 with apportionment of profits between pre and post incorporation periods. You already know the format of P&L statement, what you have to make. So pause the video and make the columns and format on your own. Yes, I hope all of you should have done the formats by now. So first we'll make the notes. First note will be for revenue from operations. That will include gross profit. Now all of you can see in the question, gross profit given is how much? 90 lakhs. Okay, all of you can see here, gross profit given is 90 lakhs. Directly in the last column, we will record 90 lakhs. Then second note will be after revenue from operations, other incomes we don't have. Cost of material consumed, direct purchases, change in inventories we don't have. So directly employees benefit. And employees benefit expenses, we have salaries. So you all can see we have marked it in green as EB. What are salaries? 7,50,000. Okay, 7,50,000 directly in the last column. 7,50,000. Then third, after employees benefit expenses, CDEF, finance cost. Now again in finance cost, since we have more than one item and more than one basis, we'll make the columns of basis, total, pre and post. In that, first finance cost item is F marked item is, you all can see, interest on debentures 2,50,000, and it will go on actual basis in post incorporation period. Okay, so interest on debentures basis actual 2,50,000, entire amount will go in post incorporation period. Then next is interest on purchase consideration. It will go on time basis, but which time basis? As we have done in the third working note, 1:0. Entire amount will go in pre-incorporation period. Okay, entire amount will go in pre-incorporation period. And what is the amount of interest on purchase consideration? 1,50,000. So entire 1,50,000 will go in pre-incorporation period. So total would be 4 lakhs, pre 1,50,000, post 2,50,000. Then after finance cost, fourth is CDEF, do depreciation and amortization. Now in depreciation and amortization, we have only one item, so simply depreciation. What item is marked as D and A in green, you all can see. Depreciation and amortization, time basis, 12 lakh rupees. Only one item is there, 12 lakh rupees. So directly in the last column, we'll record 12 lakhs. Then fifth will be DO, do other expenses. Now in other expenses, we have Administrative expenses. Within administrative expenses, all the items marked as A. So very first is rent. You all can see rent, time basis 4,50,000, and time basis you all can see is 1:2 ratio. Time ratio is 1:2. Okay. So rent 4,50,000, 1:2 ratio. Rent, time basis, that is 1:2. $4,50,000. Here also you can make the columns. Okay. Basis, total, pre, post. Now rent, as we have seen, is how much? 4,50,000. Okay, rent 4,50,000. And time ratio 1:2. So 4,50,000 into 1/3 is 1,50,000, and 4,50,000 into 2/3 is 3 lakhs. Then after rent, which other item is marked as A? Director's fees. It will go on actual basis, means post incorporation period, 2,40,000. Director's fees, actual basis 2,40,000. Entire amount will go in post incorporation period. Then after director's fees, what do we have marked as A? Audit fees, time ratio 75,000. Okay, audit fees of 75,000. So audit fees, time ratio 1:2, 75,000. 75,000 into 1/3, 25,000. 75,000 into 2/3, 50,000. Then after audit fees, which other item is marked as A? Stationery and printing, time basis 1,80,000. Stationery and printing 1,80,000. Time basis 1:2, 1,80,000 into 1/3, 60,000, and 1,80,000 into 2/3, 1,20,000. Now what is the total amount of administrative expenses? 4,50,000 plus 2,40,000 plus 75,000 plus 1,80,000, 9,45,000. Same way, 1,50,000, 210, 2,35,000, and 3, 5, 6, 14, 97, 10,000. Okay, these are the total total administrative expenses. Now, selling expenses. All the items marked as S in green letters. So discount on sales, sales ratio 1,80,000. Okay, discount on sales 1,80,000. Sales ratio basis. What is the sales ratio we had obtained in the workings? 5:7. Sales ratio, what we have got is 5:7, 1,80,000. Now 1,80,000 into 5 divided by 12 is 75,000. 1,80,000 into 5 divided by 12 is 25,000, and 7 divided by 12 is 1,05,000. Then after discount on sales, which other item is marked in green letters as S? Advertising, sales ratio 9 lakhs. Okay, advertising of 9 lakhs. Sales ratio means again 5:7, 9 lakhs. So 9 lakhs into 5 by 12. 9 lakhs into 5 by 12, that is 3,75,000, and 7 by 12, that is 5,25,000. Then after advertising, which is the next item marked as S, commission on sales, sales ratio 3 lakhs, commission on sales 3 lakhs, sales ratio 3 lakhs, so 5:7 ratio 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs into 5 by 12, that is 1,25,000, and 3 lakhs into 7 by 12, that is 1,75,000. Then after commission on sales, which is the next item marked as S, bad debts, but it is on actual basis because of this bracket, 75,000. Okay, 25,000 we have to take as per this information given in bracket in pre-period, and remaining amount in post-period. So bad debts 75,000, actual basis 75,000, pre-period is given in bracket at the bottom as 25,000. So 75 minus 25, 50,000 will be taken in post-incorporation period. Then after bad debts, we don't have any other item marked as S. So total amount of selling expenses would be 9, 10, 13, 80, 14 lakh 55,000. Then 3, 4, 550, 6 lakhs, and 5, 6, 7, 8 lakh 55,000. Okay, then we take up with miscellaneous expenses. Now in miscellaneous expenses, all the M marked items, so you all can see here, M marked items will include only one item is there, general expenses, time ratio 2,40,000. Only one item is there, general expenses 2,40,000. Okay, general expenses, time ratio means, what is the time ratio? 1:2, 2,40,000. 2,40,000 into 1 by 3, 80,000, and 2,40,000 into 2 by 3, 1,60,000. Now, final total will have to be done. So this itself is the total because there is only one item. Okay. Now final total. Not 4 lakhs, 9,45,000 plus 14,55,000 plus 2,40,000. 9,45,000 plus 14,55,000 plus 2,40,000. That is 26,40,000. Same way, 2,35,000 plus 6 lakh, 8,35,000 plus 80,000, 9,15,000. And the last one, 7,10,000 plus 8,55,000, so 15,65 plus 160, 17,25,000. Okay. Now we can do fill in the blanks in the profit and loss statement. Revenue from operations, basis of allocation, sales 5:7. Note number 1, 90 lakhs you all can see. 90 lakhs into 5 by 12. 37,50,000 and 7 by 12. 52,50,000. Other incomes are not available, so total amount would be same, 90 lakhs, 37,50,000, 52,50,000. Now, cost of materials consumed not available, Direct purchases not available. Change in inventory is not available. Employees benefit expenses, note number 2, 7,50,000. Okay, basis of allocation will be time ratio 1:2. Time ratio is 1:2 and amount is 7,50,000. Now 7,50,000 to 1/3, 2,50,000 and 2/3, 5 lakhs. Then finance cost as per the note. Note number 3, directly total amount you can see 4 lakhs, 1,50,000 and 2,50,000. Okay, 4 lakhs, 1,50,000 and 2,50,000. Depreciation time basis 1:2. Note number 4. In the note number 4 you all can see 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs into 1/3, 4 lakhs and 12 lakhs into 2/3, 8 lakhs. Then other expenses as per the note. Note number 5. You all can see total amount 26,40,000, 9,15,000, 17,25,000. Okay, 26,40,000, 9,15,000 and 17,25,000. Now total expenses 7,50,000 plus 4 lakhs plus 12 lakhs plus 26, 40, so 7, 11, 23, 49,90,000. Pre-amount 2,50,000 plus 150, 4 lakhs plus 4 lakhs, 8 lakhs plus 9,15,000, 17,15,000 and 5, 7, 15, 32,75,000. Now profit before tax. So profit before tax we will do 3 minus 4 means 90 lakhs minus 49,90,000. So profit before tax will be 40,10,000. Then 37,50,000 minus 17,15,000. So 20,35,000 and 52,50,000 minus 32,75,000. So 19,75,000. Now taxes are not given in the question, so final amount will also be same. 40,10,000, 20,35,000, 19,75,000. Now question was asked which profit will be available for dividend. Okay, here it is asked profits available for dividend. Post incorporation profit is always available for dividend 19,75,000. So that statement you'll write at the end. Thus profits available for dividend are post incorporation profit is only available for dividend, which is 19,75,000. So 2 questions are done in this lecture. Now in this chapter every lecture will be taking up at least 2 questions, which ideally a lot of practice is done, so you must try on your own and then you can play the video and verify you get it correct or not. That will be all in this lecture. Bye everyone, take care, see you in the next lecture.